Welcome to Board Ghost, a story broadcast with games as the engine.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me, no. Dying don't agree with me, no. All you board ghosts, come with me, we're going home.
We believe you're out there, hungry for stories for shared experience. We can't see you, can't hear you, and yet we'll play for you. This night's offering is a continuation of Camp Death, a playset for Fiasco. If you want to learn more about how we generated our grid or how this game works, I definitely recommend checking out our Fiasco primer. Our humble players, starting with myself, John Holt, I'm playing the character Virginia Majors, who has a secret stalker/object of sick obsession relationship with
my character, Vinnie Desmond, who is the local pot dealer. We just learned last session that he used to be the head counselor, got busted for smoking pot, for clearly being high, and now lives in a van sort of on the outskirts of the camp. And he is the dealer to a lot of people, but his biggest customer these days is a young man named Derek DelVeccio.
And Derek DelVeccio is my character. Derek has been at the camp for many years as a camper and now is finally a counselor. A number of years ago, he was in a romantic entanglement with Miss Virginia Majors and hasn't been able to let that go since that happened all those years ago, but has followed her into being a camp counselor. Last time, both he and Vinny discovered the dead body of Lisa, one of the other camp counselors, which has sort of sent a shockwave through the entire camp. And we also did our tilt last time.
Mm-hmm.
We have a tilt of guilt, which is someone panics. And then we also have a tilt paranoia, what seems like dumb luck isn't. Things are afoot.
All right. And still in play, we have an object, a weapon, hedge clippers. We have a need to get laid one last time before the end. And there's some weather in our location, which is a windstorm. There's a few other players in the mix. We got Jimmy, the head counselor. Vinny's got his van, and we're all at Camp Henderson.
Let's pick it up at the beginning of the windstorm. So the windstorm is starting to blow in. It's overcast day. The whole day has been overcast. And now it's finally around dinner time. It's sunset. We're all in the dining hall, except for Vinny, of course, who doesn't go to this camp. But he is on the premises making his nightly deliveries.
Right.
At this point, Derek is sitting next to Virginia. He's just sat next to her, sort of slid himself into whatever conversation she was having, and sort of looks around and says, "Did you hear about Lisa?"
No. I mean, I haven't seen her since last night.
Vinny and I found her body. She's dead.
Are you kidding me?
No, she's dead. She drowned in the river.
Did you tell Jimmy?
I don't know what to do. I mean, I thought Vinny was going to call the cops or something.
Huh. He didn't call the police
I
at all?
don't know. I don't think so. I haven't seen them here. But I don't know what to do. Should I call the cops? Should I tell the... What should I do?
I don't know. I mean, I maybe tell Jimmy.
Okay. And with that, he gets up and goes to look for Jimmy.
Cool. I'm going to say that this doesn't end well for Derek.
All right, a negative result for Derek. Derek is unable to find Jimmy. He's been told that Jimmy is leading a group of campers back from a hike and should have been back by now, but isn't. And so Derek has the good idea to go try and meet him on the trail. So he sets off on a hiking trail into the windy night.
Right.
The wind's really starting to pick up. Derek went out into the night. I haven't seen Jimmy back yet. Mm-mm. And I'm pretty shaken up that Lisa's dead. Like, oh, where is she? But I smell a familiar smell. It's pot. And I know Vinny's nearby. And so I put down my half-eaten sloppy Joe. and I head out into the wind to find Vinny. And the wind has been wafting his perfume into the mess hall. I find him dealing to like a couple of 16-year-olds out behind the boys' bunk.
Yeah. And he's just talking to the kids like, remember, this one in the couch. It's going to set you on your butt, okay? So make sure you're not doing this before you go jogging or, you're going to get real sleepy.
Hey, Vinny.
Oh, Jenny. There you are. What's up, Jen?
Hey, I heard you guys found something.
Yeah, I found this old set of keys, man. Real weird. Like to a little shed. Is that what you're talking about?
No, like something in the river?
Oh, yeah, Lisa's dead body. Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So I made come around, I'll show you. Come here. And he kind of leads you to like behind his van. And he's beginning to hammer together a coffin. He's like, we're going to give her like, yeah, he's making it. He's like, we're going to give her like a really, really nice service.
I like grab your arm and hug you and like, that's so sweet.
Yeah. Well, hold on, man. Come on. That's my joint arm. Get off of that. And kind of wriggles you off of him. And he's like, yeah, I just figure if someone dies, like, we could have like sort of pushed her back into the river, or into the lake, but I figured we should do the right thing and, give her a burial. So that's cool.
I'm kind of looking starry-eyed at you.
Yeah.
And my revelry is broken. We hear a scream from the camp.
Awesome.
Indeed. And things do not go well for Virginia as I hand her one of the death die, one of the red die.
The wind is really going now. Blowing.
Right.
There's water like starting to come in. It's getting pretty wet, pretty windy. Tree limbs are coming down. Like things are getting hairy as I kind of stumble through the wind back through the camp. You're on my heels. Mm-hmm. I get to the boys' bunk where you were just dealing. There's like more wetness like spraying my face. And I see up in the tree branches the heads of the two boys.
Yeah.
Swinging there.
Oh, dude.
And one of the boys' bodies is pinned to a tree by a pair of hedge clippers.
There they are.
She freaks out.
Yeah.
She starts screaming.
Right. So I'm going to pick up right there. It's very hard to cut away from that type of scene. Derek is off, on the trail. But right here we are, we've just seen these dead bodies, these kids. And you're screaming. And someone panics. Vinny just takes off. He's like, oh, no. Nope. Not today. And he just runs, completely leaving you alone in this murder scene, like backwards, back toward his van. And he trips over something in his panic as he runs. And when he looks down, he sees...
this is going to end well for him.
Yes.
Because he sees the overturned canoe.
Yeah, awesome. Okay, cool. He's like, oh, awesome. I can hide in here.
And he does.
He slides under. Yeah.
This is the last scene that I get to call, and I'm actually going to turn it on the two of you.
We get
set
to set
the scene for me, and I will decide what the outcome is.
Cool.
Okay, so the wind's picking up as you head down the trail, right? This trail kind of goes up this hill that looks out over. It's like there's a larger hike to this small mountain that looks out over the lake and the camp kind of off to the side. And you see the winds like whipping up the trees below and really getting the lake going. And there's a lightning crash and you see a figure on the trail ahead.
Does that figure have something in its hand that it's holding up?
Yeah, something shines.
Yeah, something shines in the night.
And it's got something in its other hand as well that you can't tell.
Round. Yeah.
Okay. I yell out, Jimmy! As I sort of stumble closer How does this turn out for me? I choose. Murder happens, obviously. My character is killed as the killer plunges hedge clippers again and again into his body.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, that's okay.
Goodbye, Derek.
So, yeah.
Double D.
Derek Double D's out on the trail, and he comes upon this figure. He approaches it thinking it's Jimmy, and in a rush, and the last crack of thunder and lightning, or the last that he'll ever hear, he sees the face of the killer just before dying.
We're under the canoe. The squelching has stopped. And I grab your hand, and there's like smoke billowing out from your big exhale.
Right.
And pull you away from the shore to a boathouse. And the wind's rocking it. Water's kind of coming up under this thing.
Right.
We're cowering in there, and you're shivering. I'm shivering. And this is my chance. So I'm like, hey, we've seen a lot of messed up stuff. Maybe we should,
Do
be
it.
with each other. And it gets all starry-eyed.
Awesome.
And things do not go well for Virginia.
It's super awkward.
Right.
Like, you're really high.
Super high. Yeah.
Just
Hotboxed a tarot canoe, and there
Yeah.
are dead bodies everywhere.
And, I stand up to, take off my shirt.
Mm-hmm.
And I see a shadowy figure pass by the window. Mm-hmm. And you're kind of, hunkered down back to the door. And right above your head, the blades of these hedge clippers poke in. And you're looking up oh my God. And I fall back, I'm freaked out, and I fall back into the water.
Right. Awesome. Cool.
Last scene.
Last scene. Yeah. And now, so are we going to reveal the killer in this last scene or in
we'll
the,
do it in the
I think the
aftermath.
aftermath.
Very
yeah.
cool. All right.
Yeah.
So this last scene, it is a red die here for our listeners who are keeping track.
No matter what happens,
No matter what happens,
follows.
death follows.
But
could
it
be
could be
a
positive
positive
or
for you.
negative.
It could be a positive,
So
yeah.
set the scene for us, or ask us to set
And we'll
the
tell
scene.
you what it is.
I'm going to ask you guys to set the scene.
Okay, then you choose if it's positive or negative. So the scene, what do you think? I was thinking about a big flash forward, but I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's a matter of how much we want to leave for the aftermath.
Yeah, okay. I guess we pick up right there then. You're by yourself in the boathouse.
Yeah.
With those hedge clippers
Just
right above you.
Snipping right above my head. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shit.
Let's see. You stand up and kind of you look like Ginny's not. You don't hear any splashing in the
Right.
water. Something is banging on the door, and you the blades get pulled out and shink in again, and pull out and shink in again, and so you're standing right on the edge of where the water is, and a hand grabs your ankle from in the water.
Yeah. Awesome.
Whose hand is it?
And I'm going to say that does not end well for Jimmy or for Vinny.
Because it is Jimmy.
Because it is Jimmy. Yeah.
He's in the water.
Because, Jimmy pulls me under, grabs me, and pulls me under. I am kind of stuck under the water because they're frantically trying to, get help. And I'm kind of caught in the boats and stuff. And I begin sort of drowning here. And as I look at Jimmy, who has pulled me under, I see that the water is red all around us. And he has been stabbed over and over again by hedge clippers. As he, in my, before I pass out from lack of air, I see that he has been stabbed over and over again. And he is bleeding out in the water and was just desperately trying to find help. And in the distance, I can see Virginia kind of swimming up back onto the dock. And Jimmy dies.
Jimmy dies.
So now we roll to see what our aftermath is. We don't roll any red die that are part of our pool. And my negative result is actually a -9, which is a nothing to write home about result. Back to where you started. Maybe sore and broke, just like yesterday and tomorrow. You probably learned something, though, like how to do it right next time. Next time.
Awesome. I rolled -3. My end result is harsh. Shit in a bag harsh. A lifetime of medication harsh. A big black cloud of hurt is going to rain all over you. The things you need to happen are not going to. Simple as that.
Mine's a white 4, so bitter. You know what it's like to be utterly crushed, casually brought low, forced to eat your own words and stand mute and powerless before your enemies. They gloat and you are helpless.
My character, Derek DelVeccio, wakes up on the mountain trail. It seems the stab that he got missed any vital organs. He's been bleeding, but it's closed up, and he wakes up alive.
So I swim up out of the water, pull myself to the shore, and I walk over to Becky, and I'm like, honestly, did you have to do it just then? And Becky's like, Jimmy was like in the boathouse. How did I wasn't to know that you guys were in there. And he's just like, we almost did it.
Awesome. So Vinny washes up on the shore, kind of wakes up coughing up a lung full of water, and he's totally out of it. He looks around. It's the wind is dying down. The night is giving way to dawn. And he looks behind him and sees his beloved van. And he begins to slowly crawl toward that.
Derek has somehow stumbled out of the woods and found his way back to the camp. He's covered in mud and muck, leaves, the rain from the wind. It's probably the next morning. It's cleared out, so it's a nice, beautiful, blue-skied summer morning, but he just looks like he's been to hell and back.
Right.
He finds his way to the van as well.
We are in the mess hall. The cops are around us. I've got one of those silvery hypo blankets on.
Right.
One of the cops is kind of cute.
Awesome. So Vinny, climbs into his van. He rolls up the windows. He, he's got like this knit Afghan that he puts over him. He grabs a half-lit, a half-smoked joint, and he goes to light it up just as Double D, covered in blood, what a buzzkill, comes knocking on his window.
So he sees you in the van, and he is pounding on the window and yelling, "It's Virginia! The killer's Virginia!" And you don't seem to be listening to him.
Right. Well, I'm blasting Credence, man.
Yes, you are.
I see the cute cop talking to Becky. And he's, well, one, he should be talking to me.
Right.
But two, she's looking my way. She's giving me up. Are you kidding me? And I hear her say, Virginia's a total loser. She just wanted to nail some dude. And it's her whole idea.
Brutal.
Totally freaked out, finally getting a buzz back, ignoring Derek, Double D. He it's not worth the sale right now, right? He's so annoyed. Vinny kicks the car into gear and decides he's going to drive back to the camp and just see what's going on, make sure everyone's okay. He did used to be a camp counselor here. He still knows right from wrong, he tells himself. So he drives down. He gets out. He sees cops all over the place, and he's like, "Oh, shoot!" Is able to sort of stomp out his joint, and he goes in just in time to see this girl Becky, who he always thought was kind of cute, talking to a police officer. And he kind of comes in and he's like, "Hey, Becky, right? You all right? Everything cool?"
So this is going to flash forward. It's the end of the summer. Even with the deaths, the camp kept going forward.
Yes, as it must.
And so it's the end of the summer now. Everyone's just super happy to be going home. And Derek has still not been able to find any romance at camp, and has still not been able to improve his situation in any way. Even with the cool story with how he was stabbed by the killer.
Right. And
he's just sort of seen almost as a bad luck charm.
Old Double D.
Old Double D, they call him.
In the mess hall, Virginia sees the cute cop, and now Vinny talking to Becky. And she just sees red.
Nice.
She balls her fist around something on the table and rushes at Becky and stabs a fork in her eye.
No! Oh, man.
And is wrestled to the ground by the cop, saying, "He's mine."
Yeah. I'm going to flash forward 20 years.
Oh, right.
Vinnie is in a van, a newer van, but still a van, parked on the side of a ski resort. There's snow all over, snow covers the ground, and he is just huddled up. Everything's fine, but then he can hear the whistling of the wind. And as the wind picks up, he's looking around, he's looking for his pot, and he's digging around, and he finds a fork. And this wind is slamming against his it's blowing the snow against his van, and it conjures up a long forgotten, buried memory of a cute girl named Becky getting her eyeball poked out with a fork. And he drops it, and he just goes catatonic. That is how he will remain until the authorities find him frozen to death in his van 6 days later. The end.
What a great fiasco.
Camp
That is, I think, the quintessential fiasco.
Yeah.
That is where our story ends. We'll return again with a new way to spin a tale to dare to entertain. What'd you guys think of this fiasco of Camp Death?
This is a great playset. I think anyone can jump in real easy to the themes. Like I said at the front, on the first episode, I'm not a big horror film fan. I actually haven't watched a lot of horror films, so for me, this is not my sort of more comfortable territory. But it felt great to be here and to rock it. It actually was very organic.
Yeah, and as the sort of diehard horror fan, scratched every itch for me. But also, the really interesting thing is not only was this a really fun horror game, but I felt like we could have, with the characters we built and the relationships we built, completely have said after we built everything, all right, let's just not do the horror, let's just make this Wet Hot American Summer, and it would have been just as fun and just as weird and interesting. So there's, even in this one playset, there's so much flexibility, and that speaks to the depth of possibility in this game. It's kind of mind-boggling how many playsets there are and how every single playset can be played like any way you want to play it based on your mood that day. It's kind of crazy to think. Yeah, wild to think, for sure.
Cool. To learn more about us players and the engine in our story, visit boardghost.com. If you want to learn more about Ken, you can find him.
Yeah, find me at Berlingsbeard on Twitter. It's a BERLINGS beard.
And Giaco.
And you can find me in my van. Or on Twitter at Giaco Furino.
All right. And you can find me, John, on Twitter at Lord Joho. You can attempt to pierce the veil and contact us at Board Ghost World on Twitter. You can shout through the ether if you want to have your desires fulfilled. I want to thank Pat Couples for providing the theme song and the interlude music for our show. You can find more of Pat's stuff on patcouples.tumblr.com and his bands on hotelsandhighways.com. Leave reviews and comments on iTunes or your favorite preferred listening portal. And if you're not alone in the void, share our stories. The more they're consumed, the truer they become.
If living is a highway, then heaven is a bus stop. Been waiting for a minute there, or has it been forever? 'Cause dying don't agree with me, no. Dying don't agree with me, no. Oh,